morning, Cross Timbers. Today is Friday, November 8th, 2012. This is Texan TV News from Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. And I am Alyssa Wynn. For today's headlines, 3 veterans remembered Operation Desert Storm. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion is increasing awareness of hunger and homelessness. Former Stephenville School Board trustee is back on board. Head of Texas Family Protective Services resigns. Waffle House CEO accused of sexual harassment. Syrian president says he will not leave country. Co-host of Dancing with the Stars diagnosed with thyroid cancer. A recap of the Indianapolis-Jacksonville game. A preview of the Tarleton-Angelo State game. And the weekend weather report. In campus news, on Wednesday in Joe Autry Building, Dr. T. Lindsay Baker orchestrated an event that remembered 3 special men for their service during Operation Desert Storm. He said that for the last 4 years, he has coordinated an event on Tarleton campus to bring military veterans of the past wars to share their personal remembrance with the audience of students, faculty, and staff, as well as local community members. Joe Massey, a retired staff sergeant, and current Tarleton student, along with retired Commander Sergeant Major Stephen Hickson and retired U.S. Army Master Sergeant Glenn Collier, discussed their experiences in the Gulf War. Hickson is also the senior military science instructor for the ROTC program at Texas A&M Central Texas. Some of the highlights of the event were the explicit details of combat shared by the 3 veterans. Texan TV news staffer Houston Hall sat down with Baker to talk about this event.
Hey everybody, this is Houston Hall from Texas News Service. I got with me today Dr. Baker, who is on the
also in
here at
campus
State University, and museum director. Wow! And you presented the remembrance.
That's right. For the last 4 years, I've coordinated an event on the Tarleton campus in which we bring in military veterans of past wars to share their personal remembrances with an audience of students, faculty, and staff, as well as local community members.
Interesting. Okay. And you was one of the veterans is a student.
That's right. Mr. Joe Massey.
Mr. Massey.
That's
okay.
right.
And Mr. Hickson, if I'm not mistaken, also
That's
is
right.
a part of the Tarleton?
Steve Hickson teaches military science at Texas A&M Central Texas.
In Killeen, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, and you guys want to keep doing this? Is the future?
We've had 4 successful events the past 4 Novembers, and I certainly see no reason not to continue giving our students the chance to hear first-person experiences from veterans of past wars.
Gotcha.
There's no substitute for hearing history from the people who were personally involved.
Yeah, it's better than a second source.
It truly is.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure, and thank you for coming to the program.
Awesome.
Also in campus news, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion is kicking off Hunger Homeless Week with a Hunger and Homeless Awareness Campout. ODI is inviting everyone to experience what 1 in 6 people in the United States encounter every day. The ODI staff is trying to help people get a viewpoint of what it's like to be homeless and deal with unbearable weather, surviving off $4 a day, and the uncertainty of getting 3 meals a day. The event will start tonight at Intramural Field at 7 p.m. and end Saturday morning at 7 a.m., and food will be provided. Participants are advised to bring warm clothing, a sleeping bag, and your Tarleton ID. In Stephenville news, the Empire Tribune reports that the school board appointed former board trustee Susan Hutchins to fill a vacancy after board trustee Jason Westbrook resigned. The board needed his seat to be filled until the next election in May. Hutchins has served on the school board for a total of 9 years, from 2000 to 2009. Hutchins shared memories of her 9 years as a school board trustee, saying she had never had a regret about serving, and coming back was not a difficult decision. Board President Dr. Ann Callahan approached Hutchins to ask her if she would be willing to serve on the school board until May. Hutchins accepted her offer. She says she feels honored to do so and saying it's like coming out of retirement. Hutchins will officially be appointed November 19th on the next regular school board meeting. In state news, according to the Associated Press, the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Commissioner Howard Baldwin has resigned. His resignation comes amid a criminal investigation into the department's handling of the death of a 22-month-old malnourished toddler, Tamron Kalapski. The mother of the toddler, Tiffany Nicole Kalapski, claims she was too stressed from her husband's deployment to take care of her children. The family lived on the Dyess Air Force Base. A spokeswoman for the department told the Houston Chronicle that Baldwin informed his staff Thursday that he will resign. This will be effective at the end of the year. 4 agency workers in Abilene are also on leave while police investigate the crime. Elder Kalapski is facing the 3 criminal charges for her kids, and 2 kids are currently in foster care. And now today's national and international news from the Associated Press. In national news, a woman has filed a police complaint alleging that Waffle House CEO Joseph Rogers Jr. demanded she perform sexual acts on him in exchange for keeping her job. According to the AP, the woman complained that she was harassed for nearly 10 months. The Associated Press did not identify the woman. David Cohen, a lawyer representing the woman, said that Rogers was the man cited in the police report. Police officials would not confirm the man's identity. A phone call and email to Rogers' attorney by the AP were not unturned. The police report quotes the woman as saying Rogers repeatedly tried to force her to have sex with him despite repeated refusals. She said that he also touched her breast, tried to remove her clothes, and made lewd comments. The woman, who herself described herself as a single mother, said she stayed at the job because she could not find another employment. She gave Rogers her letter of resignation in June after her son received a full college scholarship. In international news, Syrian President Bashar Assad had vowed to live and die in Syria. In an interview broadcast Thursday, Assad said he will never flee his country despite the 19-month-old uprising against him. The broadcast came 2 days after British Prime Minister David Cameron suggested that Assad leave the country if that would guarantee the end to the civil war, which activists estimate has killed more than 36,000 people. Assad is denying that his country is in civil war, instead calling it terrorism through proxies, referring to foreign countries backing the rebellion against his regime. Assad also warned against a foreign military intervention at a time when the West is taking steps to boost the opposition, saying, "I don't think the West is headed in this direction, but if it does, nobody can predict the consequences of the uprising against Assad's regime, being at the most peaceful protest but quickly turned into a civil war, with a predominantly Sunni rebels fighting government forces." British Prime Minister David Cameron called on the U.S. to join his country in doing more to help shape the Syrian opposition into a coherent force, saying the re-election of President Barack Obama is an opportunity for the world to take stronger action to the deadlocked civil war. The daily death toll in the civil war has been averaging 100 people or more recently. A surge of more than 5,000 Syrians into Turkey is to avoid violence has sent the number of refugees to 120,000. In entertainment news, according to the Associated Press, co-host of Dancing with the Stars, Brooke Burke, was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Yesterday, the 41-year-old Burke revealed her news and plans by posting a video on YouTube saying that a lump on her thyroid was detected during a biopsy. The thyroid is located at the front of the throat, and it secretes hormones that has an effect on the metabolism, development, and growth. Surgery has been scheduled, and Burke says her doctors are optimistic. Now for sports. According to the Associated Press, the Indianapolis Colts defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-10 yesterday. After the Colts scored on their first 3 possessions, Jaguar fans began to empty the stadium. The Colts moved to the second in the AFC South with a 6-3 record on the year. The Jaguars continue to struggle as they drop to 1-8 on the season. Leading performers were Colts quarterback Andrew Luck, was 18 of 26 passing yards with 277 yards. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jaguars quarterback Blaine Gabbert was 18 for 31 with 209 yards passing. He had an interception and no touchdowns. Tarleton Sports Information reports that the 5-4 Texans host 5-5 Angelo State Rams tomorrow. This is the last game of the regular season for the Texan and his military appreciation weekend. If the Texans win tomorrow, they can receive a bid for a bowl game. Kickoff will begin at 7:30 p.m. at Texan Memorial Stadium. In breaking news, according to the ESPN homepage, Lakers head coach Mike Brown has been fired. The team is currently 1-4. Now for the weekend weather report. According to the Weather Channel, today expect a high of 80 and a low of 59 with a 10% chance of rain. Saturday, expect a high of 79 and a low of 63 with a 10% chance of rain. And Sunday, prepare for a high of 75 and a low of 42 with a 30% chance of rain. Today's broadcast was produced by Travis Allison, Monet Gerald, Houston Hall, and Chelsea Sapolio. You will follow us on ustream.tv/user/Texan News Service. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan of Texan News on Facebook. I am Alyssa Wynn. Tune in Monday for the latest news from Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Have a great weekend.